Would I be the a-hole if I refuse to go to my sister's wedding because I can't bring my girlfriend as my plus one? Am I the a-hole for not accepting my new neighbor? Would I be the a-hole for telling my 7-year the reason why me and her dad divorced? Would I be the a-hole if I refuse to go to my sister's wedding because I can't bring my girlfriend as my plus one? I'm a lesbian and I've been with my girlfriend for almost 2 years now. My family, including my sister, is all fine with me being gay and supportive of my relationship. However, her fiance comes from a very regressive and religious family, and while he himself is fine, his extended family is very traditional and anti-gay. My sister gave me my invitation in person instead of mailing it, and explained that I wasn't getting a plus one because having a gay couple at the wedding would likely end up causing lots of drama with his side of the family. All my other siblings have plus ones and are welcome to bring their hetero partners. I understand where she's coming from, but it still feels like such a slap in the face. I'm not going to try and force her to give me a plus one, but I'm seriously considering not going. I love my sister, but I'm not comfortable spending a whole day alone while my other siblings are allowed to bring their partners, just because my sister wants to cater to a bunch of bigots. I haven't said anything to anyone yet, but if I so stay home, would I be the a-hole?
NTA. Your sister is ready to hurt and insult you rather than rock the boat because she knows you love her and will forgive her, but she wants to make a good impression on her fiance's family. Your sister needs to learn to stick with principles. It's a really bad way to start a marriage, to toss your principles just to get on the good side of hateful people. What she should do? Invite you both. If there's a problem, it's the fiance's family's problem. She should probably tell them in advance that you guys are coming together so you're not faced with extreme unpleasantness once you're there. If she won't, you should absolutely decline to go. Let people know why. That's important because if you decline, they'll try spreading rumors about you. You're her sister. You're going to be in her life the rest of her life. What is she planning on doing in the future? Is she going to keep you in the closet when she wants to, say, celebrate Christmas with both families? She needs to take a stand, and if she won't, you are totally in the right to. NTA. I had a similar thing. My sibling sent an invite-only address to me, even though I lived with my, now ex, same-sex partner for a while at that point. I said I'd only go if they were also invited, as per basic etiquette rules. My sibling and their now spouse talked about it, and my sibling came back and said that my partner could come due to it being an open wedding, that anyone can come, basically they would be allowed in on a technicality, but wouldn't be able to sit up front with me. I declined to attend. I didn't really have hard feelings, but that sibling is still part of a fundamentalist religion, and that plus more has resulted in being low contact with the folks that have clung on to hate and bigotry. Your sibling is prioritizing bigotry and hate over acceptance. Their actions clearly are lacking support of your relationship, no matter what their words say. I try to base my interactions and relationship with others based on what their actions show, not what fluff they tell you. I think you should tell your sibling the same, that they are supporting bigotry and showing that they are not an ally by condoning bigotry. A wedding should be something everyone just supports the couple getting married, not causing drama about others there. NTA. Is your sister going to tell you not to bring GF for family gatherings? Leave your GF home alone for Christmas. Have chat with your sister and the fiancé. Be civil. Just ask, how do you see how things work down the road? Will I never be allowed to bring the love of my life? What about when I get married? What if I have children? Asking these questions will help your sister and fiancé see that this will go way beyond the wedding. And your sister and fiancé are not accepting you. If they accepted you, they would not bow down to the bigots. If they accepted you, they would give you +1 with the invitation. This is your chance and a polite civil way to educate them. Not allowing my GF is telling me that I am wrong. Why would you treat bigots better than me? If your sister and fiancé insist on pandering to the bigots, accept their decision. Do not argue. It is their wedding, so they get to invite whomever they wish. Politely decline their invite and do not send a gift they won't deserve it. Plan a special celebration day with your GF the same day. And be sure to post to social. NTA. There has been a lot of discussion of late about discrimination. Not just how unacceptable it is, but how people's silence, their willingness to look away and ignore discrimination, contributes to ongoing discrimination and the discriminatory ahs who do it. Your sister is asking you to stay silent while she pushes you into the shame corner to hide the fact that you are gay in order to prevent her homophobic discriminatory ahs that birthed her partner from knowing that you are something they discriminate against. She is literally demanding you hide who you are to protect PIL, because let's face it, if they start ranting at her wedding about you, they aren't going to make any friends in your family. She is enabling their homophobia at your expense, and in doing so she is discriminating against you herself. How does she see the future? You never being allowed to have a partner at any family occasions in case PIL find out. Never being allowed in her life with the person who makes you happy, your partner always pushed out of the family to protect abusers at the expense of the victim. If you go through with this, then you are enabling her, protecting the jerks and your sister at your own expense. No, if she cannot see how her actions are enabling your abuse, then she's a fool. Don't go, tell your sister that you love her, but you will not be discriminated against by anyone, including her, and leave her to her toxic PIL. If you were my sister OP, I'd be proud to have you at my wedding, and if his family had a problem with it, then it's them who don't need to come. No room in my life for NTA. This is one we actually see on the subreddit semi-frequently, at least in my experience. I'm insert sexual orientation gender identity here, and while I was invited to the wedding I was told I cannot bring my SO due to sexual orientation gender identity being unacceptable to insert religious party here. I'll tell you this now, you are never TA in this situation. People who don't see all love as equal are generally always the asshole in this situation, rightfully. If you decided to not go, I wouldn't blame you at all. If you decided to take your SO on a nice date and post pictures and then tell everyone publicly why you weren't at the wedding that day, I don't think I'd blame you either. They said no gay couples at the wedding, so they got no gay couples at the wedding, or something to that effect.
Am I the a-hole for not accepting my new neighbor? I, 38 female, am part of a group of friends in my neighborhood. We take turns hosting dinner parties between our households, 5 houses out of 15 in our neighborhood. One of our group recently moved out because her husband was cheating with his secretary. In the last month, he moved her in and is acting as if everything is normal. I am hosting dinner this month. We're hosting Thanksgiving as none of us are able to see family this year. The husband of my friend, who's back home with her partners, otherwise she'd be invited, asked my husband as their friends about the plans and assumed he and his mistress would be invited. My husband said no, and that due to circumstances, none of the wives wanted them. Both him who betrayed our friend and his girlfriend who was very aware of his wife and kids at home. Well, the girlfriend came by to talk to me today. She approached me right as I was getting home from work, so I'm assuming she was waiting for me. She wants to try to mend fences and build friendships with the wives of her boyfriend's friend and neighbors, as she's now part of the community. I'll admit I was exhausted after working a 48-hour on-call shift, and I'm very proactive of my friends normally. I don't care to be this woman's friend. I simply said to her, I don't want to be friends with a woman that screws around with married men, and your boyfriend stopped being my friend when he destroyed his family and broke my friend's heart, and just walked into my home. My husband got a call from her boyfriend and he was furious with me for making his girlfriend upset. My husband really doesn't like what his friend did either and told him that he doesn't support cheating either and understand that I don't want to continue friendship with him or his girlfriend. My friends are split. All my friends that are friends with his soon-to-be ex-wife are 100% with me, and most think I should have been harsher with my words. But other friends keep telling me that she's not the problem. The husband cheated. And while I agree with that, I also believe that this girl was aware he had a wife and young kids at home and knew that damage this would do. No, she didn't take a vow, but personally, I think it's very immoral and it's like backstabbing another woman to get involved with someone that's in a committed relationship. I don't see why I should be friends. It's not like I'm friends with the whole neighborhood to start with anyways.
My husband got a call from her boyfriend, and he was furious with me for making his girlfriend upset. Oh no, the homewreckers sighed. Oh, and the cheater's mad about it. But other friends keep telling me that she's not the problem, the husband cheated. This is enabler talk cooked up and repackaged as feminism when it's really just there to excuse equally toxic people for their toxicity. The homewrecker regardless of gender is equally responsible if they're aware of what they're doing. You don't get to aid and abet a crime and then cry about experiencing the consequences. No, she didn't take a vow, but personally I think it's very immoral and it's like backstabbing another woman to get involved with someone that's in a committed relationship. Thank you for talking sense. It's not like I'm friends with the whole neighborhood to start with anyways. Also a good point. Why do you have to be friends with her? You're nebulously still friends with her boyfriend who you're mad at, if not outright hate, and she's coming to you to play diplomat. Talk about being unable to read the room. Then again, people who engage in cheating, or who are party to it typically aren't that situationally aware and expect backpats. NTA. You're absolutely correct. Legally the app didn't have an obligation to protect another's wedding, but she did have a moral obligation to not tear a family apart. They are both terrible people, and no one is obligated to befriend someone they simply don't like. She must be in denial to have the nerve to come over and mend fences or whatever BS. She should feel badly because she did a bad thing, and the cheating partner doesn't get to decide that everyone should be okay with his actions. Compared to ripping apart his own family for his selfish desires, you not inviting them to parties is a small consequence. He should be worried about the fact his children may never forgive him, and they are gone in all the ways that matter. NTA. I absolutely never understood the "it's not the other girl's fault" point of view. Did she know? Then yes she is. Period. It's low. And some girls even get all high and mighty about it like haha I've been sleeping with her husband and she doesn't even know like how do you sleep at night. Also what is the goal? I don't think homewrecker quite applies because except for some cases the man was gonna cheat and he is the one who destroyed things, but women are so hell-bent on one-upping each other that they'll help a man hurt another woman just to feel better somehow, but newsflash, it makes you worse. The girl may have been aware that the man had a wife and children or not. Do you know what he told her of his family situation? What if he told her his wife was cheating? What if he told her his wife was moving out? No, you shouldn't have told her you don't want to be friends, that screws around with a married man. You should have told her you don't want to be friends with her because she is dating a guy that cheated on your friend. NTA. We get to pick our friends and it's a two-way relationship. And many friendships run their course. This one has. You are under no obligation to maintain a friendship you are no longer interested in, for whatever the reason. I'm surprised the man and his mistress didn't consider that living in the neighborhood where he had been previously established with his wife might not be such a good idea. It's honestly not hard to predict that this estrangement from former neighborhood friends might well happen.
Would I be the a-hole for telling my 7-year the reason why me and her dad divorced? My daughter, female 7, has been asking a lot of questions about her dad, which is aka my ex-husband. She still sees her dad via visitation that is supervised by her grandparents, aka ex-mother-in-law and father-in-law. And lately, I noticed she's been talking about him a lot in a positive way, and which I'm glad. I picked her up from spending the weekend with her grandparents. She was happy and telling me all the fun things she did with him. Then she asked me if he can come to her Thanksgiving play Wednesday. I then told her no, and I just told her it's too soon and that he probably can take off work. The actual reason is I have a restraining order against him. Just look at my post history for the actual details. She then told me he told her that he can come, it's just up to me. Which is different story because that freaking pissed me off. So now I'm looking like the one that is preventing him from coming, which he knows exactly why he can't come. So I just try to explain that daddy just really hurt mommy and I'm still sad about it. She then tells me that daddy is nice now and that I should be forgiving. I then told her just some things are unforgivable. She starts crying. I just feel freaking horrible. I try to come up with a solution and say I can stay home and her dad can go and I can watch on FaceTime, and it just made her more upset. So then, I called my sister and told her about the situation, and she believes it might be time to tell her the truth. But I just think I shouldn't because if my ex is actually going to parenting classes, anger management and therapy, then he should try to get a relationship with our kids. So would I be an a-hole to tell my daughter the truth about her dad?
I'll say this for anyone contemplating not telling their kids a reason for their divorce. Nobody in my family told me, and it fucked me up for years. I didn't blame myself exactly, but I didn't understand why my parents couldn't live together. They told me the exact same thing this person told her kid. Even a lie would have been better, though. I grew into adulthood thinking, well, love in adult relationships is worthless and meaningless since it apparently just disappears for no reason. Not healthy, dude. If you're in this situation, explain it better in some kind of truthful way. Explain what happens to the love. Also, if he was the one cheating, I think it's on him to tell her the truth. It'd actually be better off for him in the long run. He's going to want to be the one to tell her the truth and apologize. Otherwise, he's going to forever be the father who cheated, caused a divorce, and then lied about it until he was forced to stop acting like a coward. I wasn't told that my mom cheated on my dad until I found out about it at 21. To say I was furious is an understatement. I don't agree with cheating and felt like I'd been tricked into having a relationship she knew I wouldn't want with her. She's still my mom, and I still love her, but I'm far more distant now. Partially because of the cheating, partly because of the years of lying. I spent years dreaming up reasons why they could have split. My mom also hinted that she didn't like my dad. Well, he was perfectly civil about it, so I'd always had a sneaking suspicion that he somehow was in the wrong. Hence, furious at the lies. I'd tell her. It's better knowing than having her wonder about it and trying to figure it out solo. It's the truth and it cannot be hid forever. It's also important she goes through her own process of handling this information. Which, incidentally, doesn't have to end in her thinking her father is an AH. My own parents split when I was 5, and it was probably when I was 15 or so, several years after my dad had remarried, when I found out it was because my dad had an affair and chose his mistress over my mom. He ended up marrying her, and they're still together 25 plus years on. My dad absolutely was in the wrong for cheating on my mom, but I reconciled that good people can do dumb, stupid, hurtful things and still be fundamentally good. My circs were a bit different in that I was very fortunate that my dad still wanted to be involved in my life, and I didn't want for child support, but I went through a period when I was really sad and angry. I asked tough questions like, why didn't you try to work it out? And you loved each other enough to have me, so why couldn't you have tried harder to stay? And that resulted in what I can only imagine would have been very painful conversations for them both to have with me. But I think it was all very instrumental in me working through it and thankfully now having a good relationship with my mom, dad, and step. She deserves to know the truth. I was 5 when my parents split, I'm 30 now. I woke up one day and my mom had just packed her shit and left, and I was raised by my dad and saw my mom on weekends. I've never gotten the true story on their split. Mom says it's BC dad told her he would never be attracted to her again after she had twins and she didn't want to stay in a loveless marriage. Dad says mom just didn't want to be a mom anymore and couldn't handle it. My twin brother and I were kid number 4 and 5, and my mom had 2 marriages and kids prior to getting with my dad and having me, my brother, and my sister, so seemed pretty in line with her character. But honestly, they are both the kind of people who play up the victim role because everyone else is always to blame for their shitty lots in life. I don't have a relationship with either of them anymore. I've never felt I could trust them or that they really cared about me for anything more than having something to brag about when I achieved different accomplishments. You should definitely tell her. If your ex doesn't want her to see him as a cheater or think less of him, then maybe he shouldn't have cheated. He doesn't get to rewrite or erase the history because it makes him look shitty.